That's a tough part, but hopefully we'll give you some interesting stuff and really kick us off and get us going here 3.5 weeks. So looking forward. Things are going really well. You can see the build and the rest of it, and I think we're in really good shape for another big event. As we would normally ask questions of the players from their experience from last year, I'll just touch back on a few of the things that I remember from last year. It was interesting at Farmers in January of 24. The professional stalker, you're kind of seeing who's moving where so you can intercept them as they walk a certain way. I ran over and caught Shane, and I had heard a rumor, and I asked Shane, Shane, will we be able to see you in New Orleans this year? And he said, yes, you will, and I'm bringing a real partner. And I said, so, the rumor's true. And he said, yes, it is. And, the whole real partner, he had played with Podrick Harrington once, who multiple major winner. He had played with Graham McDowell, who was a U.S. Open winner. And he had played with Ian Poulter, who was a Ryder Cup hero. So a real partner. He was right about that. And I reminded Shane of that on the stage after the interviews on Sunday afternoon. And Rory got a bit of a kick out of that. So, the way that all came together, I know it's gotten a lot of attention. The post-Ryder Cup lunch where Rory brought it up. And, we had talked to Rory over the years, and he always said, I've heard great things about the event, and I'll get there one day. But obviously it was a lot of excitement to get him here. And with a partner like Shane, playing with a really close friend, I think that enhances the experience for the players. I think, it was really kind of what they needed. They relaxed and they had fun with it, obviously played well. I think that contributed to it. They enjoyed, the dinners every day on the range. I'm hearing reports of, we ate dinner here and how great it was. I think that certainly contributed to their experience. They made their way around town and ate a lot of great food. And I think, it made media and a lot of positives that they got a standing ovation leaving Arno's on Saturday night. So that was a lot of fun. I think they were kind of taken aback by that, but they certainly enjoyed it. So, I've talked to both of them. I talked to both of them at Bay Hill, and can't wait to get back. Very excited. I had such a great experience last year. I think that resonated with them and has them excited about coming back. Last year was, walking around, there was a buzz and electricity. This will be my 14th Zurich Classic. Hard to believe. But, there was a buzz and an electricity about the event. The weather was great. It was perfect. Big crowds. Everything was going so well. You just look up and go, how much better can this get? We had so many positive things happen. The guys got off to, our champions got off to a slow start. They were 5 back through 6 holes, I think, and then played their last 12 holes 5 under. And an alternate shot, that's a lot of movement in alternate shot with them going 5 under over the last 12 holes to come back and win. All the wonderful things that happened, and then, cherry on top of the sundae to have them win was an awful lot of fun. Tom usually has me come by the media center, and many of you were there and do a quick, couple questions, and y'all have the cameras out and asked about the future and what we thought about this year. And, I talked about that buzz, and I talked about, having been a lot of places. Having done the Ryder Cup in 1987, the U.S. Open for 15 years, all that sort of thing. It really felt like we had a big buzz. It had a big event feel. I'm jokingly said, I know we're a football town, but maybe we're moving toward becoming a golf town also. But last year on Sunday night, as I drove home, I had XM radio, PGA Tour radio on, and I heard the Rory interview. I wasn't able to hear him when I was in the room, and I thought it made me really proud about what we had done here last year, because the question in the interview room was, Rory, you mentioned the fans out there. Talk about the energy following you and what that means when you're in a tournament like this that's so close. And his answer was, yes, it's amazing. The fans and the atmosphere all week has been incredible. The people come out in the thousands to support us. It's not lost on me how cool that is. Every time I get to play in front of thousands of people, the little boy in me just thinks it's so cool and exciting. Really grateful for everyone to come out and show up and let us play in an atmosphere like that, especially in front of all those people coming down to the last few holes. Yeah, you start to feel it. It felt like a big-time atmosphere and a big-time tournament. The crowd really made the weekend. And, for him to talk about that as a big-time, a guy who's won majors, Ryder Cups, and all the things that he's done, it was pretty gratifying to me to hear him talk about this being a big-time event, a big-time atmosphere. So, that was a lot of fun, and I think it says that kind of, sums up our whole, the whole atmosphere that we had here last year and how great that was. Go from that interview room to the 19th hole and him on stage, which was incredible. I think he, there had been so much angst on the tour, wondering where things are going. I think he really let his hair down and had a lot of fun. And he enjoyed the singing. I think that went viral so fast. He had not yet dropped the mic, and I had 6 or 8 texts from other tournament directors and other friends about, oh my God, I can't believe, you got him to do that and all that, which we didn't get him to do, but it was amazing how far and wide that went, how many times that's been replayed. It's been a lot of fun. If you watch the opening TGL match, Shane Lowry hit the first shot, and Rory was in the booth, and they ran a highlights package of the Zurich Classic with them both hitting shots, making putts, along with Rory on stage singing. And so, the amount of attention that has gotten, but just their whole experience here, how much fun they had, and winning was huge for us. I mean, it was, where we sometimes go a little quiet after the tournament, that all has continued, and then you go into the Netflix Full Swing show and have a whole episode essentially around their experience here. It just says a lot about our format, about guys getting together and having fun, about our city and all the ability they have to come in and have a good time. So it's been fun to get all that attention and have guys, hopefully other players are taking note about what that experience can be like. As we go forward, obviously I've talked about it 100 times. I mean, the tie with Ryder Cup, those two guys, certainly care about Ryder Cup. And it's been really interesting to me as we've gone forward, probably more so this year. I've talked to Luke Donald a lot about plans and, I had lunch in Florida at one of the events with several European agents. And it's amazing to me how the Ryder Cup culture in Europe and how seriously these guys take this. And they think about it every day, and the text threads and all of the things I'm hearing about this guy and that guy, and this is what we're doing. I think it says a lot. They play a 2-man team event in January every Ryder Cup year. They called it the Team Cup this year. It's Great Britain and Ireland versus continental Europe. And the fact that those guys take a week and go prepare an alternate shot and better ball, and they have some singles. But I think it just goes to show how seriously the European side takes the Ryder Cup. And, at one of our meetings in the fall, I jokingly said to our membership, the Luke and the European Ryder Cup side seems very engaged. I think we're going to see a good turnout there. I said, maybe we should suggest, I know Luke in some of the conversations has been concerned about the hostile crowd at Bethpage. I was with U.S. Open in 2002 for the first U.S. Open at Bethpage. That crowd, I can tell you, it might be different than the Ryder Cup crowd you'll see this fall, but they were wildly inappropriate. They yelled things out, but they were so funny. Some of the things that were said. And I think, Luke was there in 2002 and previous, subsequent Ryder Cups there. The crowd there is going to be something else. And I jokingly said, maybe we should have some of our fans follow your players and try to heckle them to get them prepared for Ryder Cup, for Bethpage. He said, it's really not a bad idea. He actually kind of laughed and joked about it. And then I said, but I know the one thing is our fans won't heckle Rory and Shane. They may heckle others, but they won't heckle those two. It was funny, after they finished on Saturday, Aaron Rai was in the group with Rory and Shane, and he came off the golf course and he said, oh my gosh, I never knew we had so many Irishmen in New Orleans. The crowd was pretty supportive of Shane and Rory. So, I mean, I think, we'll see a lot from the European Ryder Cup side. And the more we do to tie in with team golf, I think the better for us. So I think that's going to continue to help us. Disappointing not to have Shane and Rory here. I usually ask a question of one or both of the guys. And the one question I wanted to ask Shane, watching TV when he hit the very first tee shot in TGL. And it was interesting, yes, there's a shot clock. It was interesting to me, he got up to the ball and he took this huge deep breath. And I was interested in it. Was he nervous? I mean, it's obviously kind of a new thing for him, but I would have wanted to ask him, he's teed off with a 5 or 6 shot lead in the Open Championship in his home country at Royal Portrush. He's, obviously Ryder Cups, all the different shots he said. I saw him take that deep breath. I wanted to ask him what, was he nervous or was there a different level of nerves on that shot? For Rory, the question I wanted to ask, I think it kind of gets overlooked, but Rory and Shane had to birdie 18 to go to the playoff. And they were left, on the second shot, they were left kind of short-sided. I didn't see that as, I wanted to ask Rory, or either one of them, I mean, he hit it to 2.5 feet. I wanted to add, for a player of his caliber, is that an 8 out of 10 shot, a 6 out of 10 shot? I mean, he made it look easy. I don't think that, I mean, he didn't have a whole lot of green to work with, and he hit a really nice shot. I would have been interested to see what he would have said in terms of the odds to hit that shot, but obviously 2.5 feet, they tap in and they win in the playoffs. So, I'm sure we have a lot of questions we could have asked them about their experience here. But, our field, as usual, is coming together well. Unfortunately, because we chased so long trying to work out availability. I mean, the beauty of having very successful, very good champions is they're very busy. And, we kept trying to work out dates, and we thought we had a date, and then this, backed up and backed up. We're later now with media day than we would normally be. But you're about to see, we're about to unleash a lot of names quickly over the next 3.5 weeks in terms of, you'll see 3, 5 teams a week that we'll be releasing. So you'll see a very steady cadence of that going forward as we get there. Guys, and it's happened a lot this year at other tournaments where guys have committed late at the last minute to add a tournament that they weren't sure if they were going to play. I think part of that in talking to players and agents, the tour is, well, obviously trying to make the top 50 to be in the elevated events is a big deal for everybody. That puts you, so if you finish in the top 50 in FedEx Cup points, you're, in the elevated events for next year. But, the tour's cutting back fields and the exempt number is going from 125 to 100. So a lot of guys are worried about, I've got to make sure I'm in the top 100 to remain exempt next year. So a lot of guys are playing more golf than they have in the past. And a lot of guys that I've talked about are kind of, they think, they're not sure, but that has been a factor in playing more and trying to make sure they're either in the top 50 or the top 100. It looks like next year with that field cutback, we'll go from 160. We have been the largest field on the PGA Tour. Normally the largest is 156. We're 160. We'll go to 144 next year. So, for those guys, they've got to make sure they have the right finish so that they're exempt to be here next year and everywhere else next year. So, we always focus on our champions. Obviously, not a whole lot more I need to say about them. Rory's number 2 in the world. Won Pebble this year, an elevated event, which was a lot of fun with Shane finishing second. Won the Players' Championship, so obviously that's a big deal. Shane has piled top 10s up all year long. So both our champions are coming in very, very good form. So, we'll look forward to them keeping that up, and we would certainly expect them to play well here. We're also announcing Colin Morikawa and Kurt Kitayama. Colin's number 4 in the world. Great player, one of those guys that, sometimes you've got a guy, he's a can't-miss player, and Colin certainly has not missed. I mean, he was player of the year in college. He was the number 1 amateur in the world, Walker Cup, Palmer Cup. I mean, everything you could have, how many time All-American. Wins very early in his pro career, adds 2 majors, has been on the Olympic team twice, represented the U.S. in the Olympics. So, he's been everything that we would have expected, and, always happy to have him back. Kurt, the first year of the elevated events, Kurt won Arnold Palmer Invitational at Bay Hill, went as high as 19th in the world. I think they play some golf together in Las Vegas, practice and play there some, so there's a connection there. You see a lot of clips of Kurt. He's a good athlete. He was a good high school basketball player. I've seen a lot of those clips of him playing basketball. Played at UNLV, and he won 3 times on the European Tour before he came back to the U.S. So a very accomplished player in his own right. And Tom and I'll start rolling out other releases here probably by the end of the week, and then next week you'll probably see 3 or 5 teams, and then we'll just keep all of that rolling as we rolling up to tournaments. So at this point, I'm going to let Tyler come up and talk about the golf course. I mean, the reviews from the golf course about the golf course from the players, to me, have been better and better every single year. They're thrilled with it. It's been great. It's always obviously great to hear that. So makes it an easy sell to the players. But I'll let Tyler come up and talk about where we are and where the golf course is and that sort of thing.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning. Golf course is good. A lot of our work kind of starts in the fall based off how overseas goes in October. It was a dry month. Sea came out really well, so the greens are good. It's kind of what we're based off of. No real changes to the golf course. It's been a dry year to start. I think we're a little behind where we normally are, which is a good thing for us. We started a lot of our prep work a little early due to Super Bowl events and that type of stuff, so I think we're a little bit ahead. It's just a lot of detail work left to do. I could point out a million things I think are wrong that 95% of you would never notice, but yeah, it's good. No changes. We did regrass a couple of tees, but that's about it. So, questions? Cool.
Thank you, Tyler. To focus on this year, moving forward. I can't say enough. I say it to our membership all the time. It's also certainly true of our volunteers. This is their event. We as a staff try to put our members and volunteers in the best position to succeed, but without the time, they take time off of work, the dedication. They truly take ownership in this event. And, Chris and I and the rest of our staff work really hard, but, without those people doing what they do to make this experience what it is for our players, for our hospitality guests, our patrons, you name it, all the different constituents that we have, we'd never have the success that we have. And they really put in a lot of time and effort. And, I'm proud for them that we've been able to grow and do what we've done. So, and it's all because of them. Last year was a record year for us. We gave away $3.3 million to children's charities. Very proud of the impact that has. Our members take that very, very seriously and very, very proud of that. Our number now is $22.9 million over the last 10 years that we've given to charity. So we've had a nice run of really good success with continued growth. And it's $51 million over the lifetime of the event, going back to 1958. So, it's been a nice run. We've enjoyed doing it and look forward to continuing that success. One of the things, I think I've probably said that here before, but, the TV, Zurich pays a lot for the TV time. That's part of the contract. Last year with the playoff, with all of the replays and all the things, we were on for 46 hours of television, and it goes to 165 countries. So, all of the highlights of the city and the region and the area, the golf course, the alligators, the streetcars and the skyline, and all of the things that TV does, it goes around the world. And I know it has a big impact on driving people to visit here. TV ratings were up 30% last year. Safe to say, Rory, and there's a little factor there that it's always nice to go up, but that's always nice to have that kind of that kind of increase. In terms of the event this year, we focus on having the best players in the world here. That's a huge part of what we do. But we focus on giving our patrons the best experience we can. The food and beverage, obviously very well known for that. We continue to focus on improving that. I think it gets better and better every year. Our surveys seem to show that. And that's a continued focus. The growth has been incredible. We sold out of all of our suites and all of our pro-ams in October. That's a huge record. We've had years back in my early years where we were chasing it into early April, and to be sold out in October, that's obviously a wonderful thing. Last year we sold out of all of the Best of the Zurich Classic and our walk-ons venues. So we've had expansion. We've added more suites and still sold out of those. Both walk-ons and Best of the Zurich Classic have expanded. There are a lot of, walk-ons now will expand. We have the player walkway that goes from 17 green to 18 tee. Now walk-ons will be on both sides. So in the past, the players have gone down and you've had the walk-ons patrons on their right. Now it's expanded to the left side and they'll be on both sides. So excited about that. We've been 3 years with that venue. They signed an extension, and it's been a fun venue. The view there behind 17, the big glass wall, that skyline kind of, as you're standing on 17T and you look at the build across there, it's certainly added a lot to that view, and it's been a great experience for our patrons. We are already sold out on Friday of walk-ons tickets. So, nice position to be in. We hate for people to get shut out, but we also made a big expansion to our Best of the Zurich Classic venue. Both at 17 and 18. There are some great seats at 17 that we've added now, both facing 17 green, and we've got a new tent with rows of seating facing 14, the par 3 right behind the venue there. So sales are ahead of where they were this time last year. We're not sold out yet, but for people who want tickets, I would advise they make sure they don't wait too long, because they're certainly rolling, and we're excited about that. We take our charity give very, very seriously. This year we have a new program with Entergy. Entergy is a great community partner. We've been talking about opportunities and ways that we can continue to improve our charity give. We're doing an Eagles for Education with Entergy. So they're going to give $2,000 per eagle made by our pros. Usually it's somewhere in the 30, 35 range of eagles made. We'll have a board on property that will track how many eagles per day and the totals and all that sort of thing. But it'll go to scholarships and education for local children and local college kids, all the way through. But the money stays here, and nice new program, and we're excited about that. And we'll put out more info about that as we move forward. Talking about the Best of the Zurich Classic earlier, I know we probably bragged a little bit last year. The Best of the Zurich Classic from the year before was rated, it got voted in the PGA Tour Tournament Awards. There's 12 or 14 awards that the tour does. The Best of the Zurich Classic was voted the best venue on the PGA Tour, which obviously we were very proud of. We put a lot of work into that. This year, it had been some number of years since we had won a tournament award. This year we won the Sustainability Award presented by Waste Management. Zurich, sustainability is very near and dear to Zurich's heart. That is a very important thing to them. We spend a lot of time on all of the focus on how we could be sustainable in recycling. We ended up recycling over 33 tons of material last year. We got a lot of really positive attention about the recycling the oyster shells and having them go back into the Gulf. We recycle glass bottles that are turned into sand, which help with coastal restoration. Zurich takes that very, very seriously, and I know we were all very proud to win that tour award. So, that's a big deal. Zurich obviously couldn't be happier with them as a title sponsor. Last year they celebrated their 20th year. We've got 2 years left on our contract right now, but I feel fairly confident we'll have some news about the future coming up, maybe tournament week. So, have been having a lot of talks with them, and they love the city. They love their ability to entertain here. They love the experience on site, and feel like they're in a good place as it relates to the future. Over the years we tweak things a lot, but with great growth comes change, and probably, other than the change of team format, probably this may be the biggest change we've had since I've been here, outside of the format change. We've had more and more people, record crowds. We were maxed out last year from a parking standpoint. For those of you who see what happens on Lapalco, we fill the neutral ground, we go all the way down the road, and there's just a lot of activity out there. And then the Ilario Center has been an incredible partner. We've been there all 20 years. since we've been at TPC Louisiana, but we maxed out that last year. We were at we were all asphalt, and we were into we filled the grass. And with that grass, both on the Lapalco and the Lario Center, we bring the fear of weather. For those of you, many of whom I know have been around through the teens, we had a run from 2013 to 2018 that was not very pleasant from a weather standpoint. And now we're on a very good run. We've had 4 years in a row of really, really good weather. So, trying both from a capacity standpoint and a planning standpoint, making a move of that parking to NOLA Motorsports. You've got massive asphalt out there. So we're going to take, last year I would tell you, Saturday afternoon we had the biggest crowd we've ever had on property at the Zurich Classic. At 5 o'clock, last putt drops, I went out to Lapalco and sat so I could watch the exit. I wanted to see how smoothly we could get all of the people back to Elaria. When the telecast goes off, you've got 100+ cars in our compound from CBS, all trying to get out. You've got our valet cars trying to get out. You've got through traffic on Lapalco going both ways. You've got buses coming back from the Elaria Center. JPSO does an incredible job, but as they call it, organized chaos. There are so many things going on out there, and add to the mix pedestrians who, some of whom are going down to ride, taking a left and going down to ride share, some of whom are going across the street to walk to their car and sponsor parking, some of whom might have had a beverage or two. It's worked, but that amount of activity has just gotten untenable. So we'll move to NOLA Motorsports. We'll still have half the parking on Lapalco, but we won't have any parking at Elario, and the rest will go to NOLA Motorsports. Now, to do that, we are creating a new NOLA Motorsports gate to the left of number 3. As the reviews we got on the shuttle operation from Elario were always really, really good. We paid a lot of attention to it. It was always very smooth. You're talking about a third of the time, you'll be on a bus a third of the time from the parking at NOLA Motor to the new gate than you would have been from Elario to the front entrance, to the Lapalco entrance. So it's going to be very quick on a bus. You're guaranteed to be on hard surface parking. And if you're at one of the venues at 17, you're walking 500 yards less to get from the new gate to 17 than you would have from Lapalco to 17. So we're excited about it. It's something we've been talking about for 3 or 4 years, but with the growth that we've had, it's a change that we had to make, and I think it's going to be very good. I mean, we have a really good plan in place. The buses are, the way it's designed, the buses are not going to get tied up in any traffic. Nicole Boulevard in the back that runs from Lapalco to the neighborhood in Avondale will be closed from NOLA Motorsports to the neighborhood. So, people getting off buses, the road will be closed. That's a safety thing. The Jefferson Parish Council has approved it, and I think it's going to make for a very, very good experience. Now, we've got a lot of education. We've got people who've parked at the Elario Center or on Lapalco for 20 years, making sure we get that word out so they know where they're headed. We'll be inundating people with information on that. For those that have hang tags, there are QR codes on the back that will give them directions and maps and everything to know where they're going. But, it's a major change, and it's going to be, we would love your help as we get closer, continuing to push that out so that there's no confusion. But, we'll be sending a million emails, and all the tickets will have the info and the rest of it. So, I think that's a pretty big change, but we're excited about it and very confident it's going to be a long-term solution as we continue to grow that's going to work very well for us. Other than that, I think we're in a great place. 3.5 weeks, a lot of excitement going forward. But glad you came out today. If there's anything we can answer or anything, just let me know.
It's easier just while you're at the podium. I know some
Sure.
people get one-on-ones.
Yeah, no problem.
Steve, with Rory and Shane, I know there's going to be a big field and a lot of well-known names, but to have Rory and Shane coming back, their electric personalities, how huge is that for this tournament that they're coming back?
Well, that's massive. Last year when we announced them, somebody asked me, and I said, Tiger, Rory, I don't know who you would have that would be more impactful from a fan standpoint. And to have them come, enjoy the week the way they did, and then win, and now come back is wonderful. So, I'm very proud. I think we'll have a good field, but when you're starting with Rory and Shane, great place to start. So, yeah, very excited to have them back.
Steve, are you obviously always encourage people to buy the tickets early, but you're saying there's
Yeah, we did last year. I mean, the best of the Zurich Classic, we had people calling trying to buy big packages. We had none to. I mean, from an experience, a spectator or customer experience, we have a point that we can't overload it past that, or it's going to damage the experience. Last year we sold out. This year we're sold out at walk-ons on Friday only so far. But even with the added capacity, we've got an expanded number. But if we very well could still sell out.
But you can hit for general admission tickets, you can hit a limit as well.
That would probably be a bigger number. The venues are the ones where we really have that defined capacity.
Steve, for the second year in a row, you talked about the Full Swing show. Are they getting with you before the tournament? I mean, this has been big for just the Zurich. I mean, most of the Full Swing focuses on the majors. You're getting like almost a whole episode in the last 2 seasons focused on the Zurich and the Fitzpatrick brothers this past year with Shane. And how big has that been for y'all that have? I mean, this is worldwide acclaim for this tournament.
Yeah, no question. I mean, you kind of go quiet sometimes, non-tournament time, and to have all of the reminders of the experience that these guys are having, whether it's brothers and Matt and Alex Fitzpatrick, and how much fun they had, and their whole family, their parents. I've gotten to meet their parents. They come, they have a great time. For Shane and Rory and their whole experience, it just keeps things top of mind, whether it's for potential buyers, whether it's for other players who maybe, haven't been in a while and see the experience that you can have here. It's a chance to do something different. It's, look, don't tell me that Shane and Rory were any less intense than they would have been in another big tournament, but it is more fun. It is a chance with a partner to kind of relax and have some fun. And when you get in the hunt, then it's just like anything else. But, they don't tell us in advance. Typically, they've got a group of players that they're going to follow for the year. And so we've been fortunate enough that some of those guys have been part of the story here, and that we've gotten a lot of attention out of the show. But it's been great for us.
How excited are you from a golf perspective? Just the storyline of Rory and Shane trying to obviously repeat, but also just them, their quest to do that. How excited are you for that?
Oh, it's great. I mean, for those of us who've been around for a long time, I mean, our field has been up and down, certainly since the team format has been here. Our fields have been strong, but I think Rory right now moves the needle as much as or more than anybody in golf. So I think that tie to the Ryder Cup. I think those guys are so focused on September, and having them play together and having all of that combine to have them want to come back, to have a lot of their potential partners coming back, just gives us something to hang our hat on. I mean, you never know. Okay, we're on the 18th green. They're doing the post-round interview, and they said we'll definitely be back. And and now, am I taking that as gospel? Yeah, I mean, I think they are. I know they had a great time, but until they've actually committed to the PGA Tour, you still have your concerns as whether it will actually happen. But that's all done. They're in. They both told me they're really looking forward to getting back to town. So that's huge for us.
Given the nature of the sport right now and some still uncertainty with mergers and what's happening with different tours and stuff, how beneficial and important is it that you all are ascending right now with record numbers and record TV? I mean, that certainly has to be a good thing, depending, not that there's any jeopardy or anything, but to be an ascending event when there's questions about what's going to happen going forward.
Yeah, no, I'm 100%. I mean, we don't know what things are going to look like going forward. And, players have a bigger voice in terms of the future of the tour, I think, right now than they've ever had. So having players come here and have a great experience, having good fields, having TV go up, having a sponsor like Zurich, who's been around for a long time, and we feel confident they're going to continue to be around, puts us in a place where if there is any change, we're well positioned to be in a good spot and make sure we're protected and can be part of that future.
One of the fan questions. So with parking at NOLA Motorsports and you got that new gate, is that going to become the main entrance for most people, or can people still be shuttled around to the front entrance?
Well, we'll still have limited maybe half of the parking we've had on the Palco. So those folks would come in that way. We still have rideshare down on just down from the left of the entrance there. So the rideshare folks will come in that gate, and then our volunteers get shuttled to that gate. But otherwise, Maine or not, I mean, we've got a Lapalco gate and a NOLA Motorsports gate. So, the crowd, it will probably be 60% at NOLA Motorsports gate and 40% at the Lapalco gate.
English Turn, I think, used to have a second gate, so that's probably good in terms of crowd, dispersing the crowd. A little bit.
It spreads things out. Yeah, no, it definitely spreads things out more. It was just the amount of traffic intersecting in so many different ways out front. I mean, it was managed well, but you always kind of feel like it was a bit of a risk. And so now by separating all that, I think, going back to my U.S. Open days, we would have 3 or 4 different entrances spread all around, just again to spread the traffic, so we didn't get overrun in one spot. So, everything that's at the front gate, ticket check, security, landscaping, signage, new concessions, new restrooms, all of those things will be at the new gate. So it'll be essentially recreating what we've had up here.
You raised $3.3 million, you said last year, through events like this. How much do you think, having Rory in this kind of helps boost those numbers? What kind of impact do you think it has on the charitable funds you raised?
Well, it definitely has an impact. I mean, we've set records 4 years in a row, maybe, Chris? At least 3. So, I think it's a lot of different things. I mean, we had last year was the first year we were back opposite, coming out of COVID, was the first year we were back opposite Jazz Fest. We had been 3 years in a row unopposed and continued to grow. And then last year, Jazz Fest took place. Saturday, Sunday, they had really big crowds. Saturday, Sunday, we had record crowds. So all of us win. We had good weather. Everybody succeeded. But over those years, I think we have probably converted some people who want to come out. We've got bands like we saw with Rory on Saturday and Sunday night. We've got incredible food. We've got incredible drink opportunities. I think a lot of people who weren't the maybe hardest core golf fan came out and go, you know what, this is a blast. This is a lot of fun. There's lots of things to do. And so I think that has all contributed to the growth. And then you add, Rory to the mix. Hard to put a number on it. 100%. It definitely had an impact. And, it's something we certainly hope a combination of all those factors will have us here talking about this next year with another record.
Is there potentially, I know last year when the news of Rory broke, it was like kind of earth-shattering for us locally because it was such a big name. I know you said names are going to be coming. Are there potential any pleasant surprises without giving anything away that could, be revealed in the next 3 weeks?
I mean, guys, there are a lot of recognizable names I think you'll see. The handful, the group of earth-shattering like a Rory or a Tiger, I don't think it goes much further than that. So, I don't think we're talking about that kind of name, but we've got a lot of guys from a world rank standpoint, from a recognizability standpoint, and all that. We'll have a lot of those rolling out real soon.
It sounded like, correct me if I'm wrong, you were foreshadowing at least the potential for some other big name Europeans pairing up to use this as a prep event for Ryder. Is that do you envision that?
Yeah, I do. I mean, they've had a lot of conversation about it. There are a lot who have indicated they're going to be here, and those names will start rolling out, and we're still chasing a few as well. So, I think you're going to see a big turnout of guys who were either on their last team or who are quite possible for this year's team.
And I might have inferred this incorrectly, but the Europeans more active in that regard than the Americans are as far as this tournament is concerned?
We're not there yet, but to this point, I would say that's probably a fair statement.
What gives you the confidence about the contract in Zurich?
We've been having conversations, and they enjoy their experience here. They've always told me from the very early days I was here, as long as we can invite our biggest customers and they jump at the chance to come here and be part of this event and what we do in the city and entertain them. And they do a phenomenal job of carving out time to talk business with those guys, with those people when they're here. I feel confident that they'll be, they've always said we feel confident we'll be back as long as we can attract the right people to get our return on investment. And they have been very positive, and there have been a lot of conversations taking place, and you know, I think they're in a good spot, and hopefully, you know, we'll have some good news that's coming out soon.
Is there when you all talk contracts, do you talk 5, 10 years? I mean, how far out do you talk?
You know, we'll, you want to go as far as you can from our standpoint, from a stability aspect. But, you know, there are, the PGA Tour TV contract is up in 2030. So that is a factor for some of the sponsors who are thinking, okay, we don't know where TV is going to be beyond that. So I know that kind of factors in from a length standpoint. But, you know, we would like to go as far out as we can. So.
In the past, the one that's about to expire, when is it after?
It's 7. 26 is the last year of the contract, but that was a 7-year contract. We were 5 before that.
Okay. There's been some shorter ones lately at other places.
Coming, yeah, that's correct. And some of that could, I mean, I don't want to speak to that, but I know the TV contract, the end of the tour TV contract might play into that as to why people aren't going 10 years, you know, from now 10 years further, because you just don't know what you're going to have in terms of of TV going forward.
And is the ideal time to lock down the extension right around the time that the second to last tournament is being played?
Yeah, that's the way we've always looked at it. I mean, you know, you want to have time to get others in if you needed, you know, other prospects in if you needed that. Fortunately, we haven't, and I'm fairly confident we won't need that. But yeah, I think that's kind of been the right timing.
Have you all even had to look for other competitors for that right now?
Not to this point.
No conversation?
No, not to this point.
You have to be proactive with the constantly changing landscape of ensuring that your dates correspond with the 1 weekend at Jazz Fest. You want that, right? Because
Zurich likes that. You know, I mean, there are anomalies in the calendar every so many years where, because the Masters and the PGA are locked in, and the calendar can change a little bit. But, you know, if you go back, maybe, well, it had to have been right before COVID. We were the second week of Jazz Fest one year because the number of weeks between the Masters and the PGA changed. So it ended up shifting us slightly. But, you know, we like the spring. Tyler has a golf course in the right condition in the spring. Zurich likes it. So I think we're comfortable where we are. We're not looking to move significantly from where we are. We don't fully control that, but we're not looking for that.
what I was thinking is that you will actually have to be proactive to ensure you stay where you are, just because the sponsor likes the overlap.
And Zurich has made that clear to the tour.
Yeah.
So they are aware of that. All good?
Thank you, Steve.
Great, thank you. Thanks everybody for coming out.
You
Oh,
got your broken leg on TV last year.
yeah, we had a little, as we were moving Shane and Roy to the 19th hole,